Jean de Thévenot was a French traveller in the East who wrote extensively about his journeys. He was also a linguist, natural scientist and botanist. Education. He was born in Paris and received his education in the Collège de Navarre. He was a nephew of Melchisedec Thévenot. Early European travels. Thévenot conceived a desire to travel from reading other travel writing, and his wealth allowed him to fulfill this desire. Leaving France in 1652, he first visited England, the Netherlands, Germany and Italy. At Rome he fell in with d'Herboulot, who invited him to be his companion in a projected voyage to the Levant. D'Herboulot was detained by private affairs, but Thévenot sailed from Rome in May 1655, and, after vainly waiting 5 months in Malta, took passage for Constantinople alone. First travels to the Near and Middle East. He remained in Constantinople until the following August, and then proceeded to Smyrna, the Greek islands, and finally to Egypt, landing at Alexandria on New Year's Day, 1657. He stayed for a year in Egypt, then visited Sinai, and, upon returning to Cairo, joined the Lent pilgrim caravan to Jerusalem. He visited the chief places of pilgrimage in Palestine, and, after being twice taken by corsairs, got back to Damietta by sea, and was again in Cairo in time to view the opening of the canal on the rise of the Nile. In January 1659 he sailed from Alexandria in an English ship, visiting Galata and Tunis on the way at and, after a sharp engagement with Spanish corsairs, one of which fell a prize to the English merchantmen, reached Leghorn on the 12th of April. He now spent 4 years at home in studies useful to a traveller. Further travels. In November 1663 again sailed for the east, calling at Alexandria and landing at Sidon, whence he proceeded by land to Damascus, Aleppo, and then through Mesopotamia to Mosul, Baghdad and Mendele. Here he entered Persia, proceeding by Kermanshah and Hamadan to Isfahan, where he spent 5 months, and then joining company with the merchant Tavernier, proceeded by Shiraz and La to Bandar Abbasi, in the hope of finding a passage to India. This was difficult, because of the opposition of the Dutch, and though Tavernier was able to proceed, Thévenot found it prudent to return to Shiraz. Having visited the ruins of Persepolis, he made his way to Basra and sailed for India on the 6th of November 1665, in the ship Hopewell, arriving at the port of Surat on the 10th of January 1666. He was in Mughal Empire of India for 13 months, and crossed the country by Golconda to Masulipatam, returning overland to Surat, from which he sailed to Bandar Abbasi and went up to Shiraz. He passed the summer of 1667 at Isfahan, disabled by an accidental pistol shot, and in October started for Tabriz, but died on the way at Mana on the 28th of November 1667. Linguistic skills and natural sciences. Thévenot was an accomplished polyglot, skilled in Turkish, Arabic and Persian, and a curious and diligent observer. He was also well skilled in natural sciences, especially in botany, for which he made large collections in India. Travel writing. The account of his first journey was published at Paris in 1665, under the title Relation d'un voyage fait au Levant. It forms the first part of his collected voyages. The license is dated December 1663, and the preface shows that Thévenot himself arranged it for publication before leaving on his second voyage. Among other things, he was one of the European travelers to include the story about the origins of the medieval Arabic document, the Akdi name of Muhammad, which claims that the Islamic prophet Muhammad had personally confirmed a grant of protection and other privileges to the monks of St. Catherine's Monastery in Egypt. The second and third parts of Thévenot's voyages were posthumously published from his journals in 1674 and 1684. A collected edition appeared at Paris in 1689, and a second in duodecimo at Amsterdam in 1727. There is an early English translation by a Lovell.